By the time the sun rose on the morning that changed everything, Nafula had already been awake for hours. Early sun rose to a village. The village of Kiboron wasn't on any map, except maybe an old one nobody trusted. It sat quietly between two hills, wrapped in morning fog and the smell of smoke from early cooking fires. Life there was simple, predictable and slow. But for Nafula, a 17-year-old girl with a stubborn heart and a mind always 2 steps ahead, slow was not enough. On this particular morning, Nafula tied her faded maroon headscarf, stepped outside and looked at the sky. Her mother always said Nafula could read skies like a book, clouds, winds, even the birds' patterns. Nafula didn't know if that was true, but she believed the sky had answers. Today it seems unusually restless. Just as she was about to fetch water from the river, she heard a familiar cry. "Mama, Mama." It was Lemu, her little brother, running barefoot from the house. We all lived around it, needed it, feared it. When it rained too much, the river swallowed the footbridge connecting the village to the next one, where the only primary school teacher sat. Children missed days of learning. Farmers missed the market. Women missed the clinic. Life paused. But today something inside Nafula refused to pause. "Lemu," she said, lifting his chin, "we will find a way to cross." By mid-morning, the whole village had gathered at the riverbank. Mothers held buckets loosely. Children stared wide-eyed at the raging waters. Elders calmly scratched their chins like they were negotiating with the river. The narrow bridge, once wooden planks nailed together, had been swept away. Again, someone must report this, said one man. "Report to who?" Another asked. "They have been promising a new bridge for 10 years. Nafula listened, anger rising slowly. "What if we make our own?" she asked. Everyone stared at her like she had announced she could fly. A few laughed. Some rolled their eyes. A few elders whispered that she was too young to speak like that. But one person didn't laugh. Acheng, a 70-year-old widow known for her sharp mind and sharper tongue. "A girl who thinks," Acheng said loudly, "is better than 100 men who complain." The whole crowd fell silent. That afternoon, Nafula visited Acheng's home. The old lady sat outside waving baskets with the speed of someone half her age. "You meant what you said?" Nafula asked. Acheng nodded. "The world changes because someone gets tired of waiting. But how? We don't have money or even tools." Acheng smiled, revealing 2 perfectly missing front teeth. "You think bridges are built with tools alone?" "No, little one. They are built with people." Then she told Nafula a story about how, in her youth, when the floods destroyed homes, the community rebuilt together. No government, no aid, just people. And something stirred inside Nafula, a kind of courage that didn't feel like courage at all, more like impatience becoming action. The next morning, Nafula did something she had never done. She called a meeting under the big mugumo tree near the river. People gathered out of curiosity more than belief. She stood on the rock to seem taller. "We can wait months for help that may never come," she began, voice trembling but steady. "Or we can build a bridge ourselves. Not with cement or steel, but with stones, logs, ropes, and our own hands." The mamas were loud, doubtful, until a soft voice spoke. "I am in." It was Mr. Koech, the village carpenter, quiet, dependable, and respected. Then another voice and another. By the time Nafula climbed down from the rock, 30 people had volunteered. It wasn't enough. It also wasn't too little. It was a start. For the next week, the village came alive differently. Men chopped logs, women carried stones, teens braided tough sisal ropes, even children helped gather small pebbles. The weather was unpredictable, but their determination was steady. Every evening, Acheng told stories of unity, loss, hope, and stubbornness of people who refused to be defeated by nature. And somewhere along the way, the idea became more than just a bridge. It became a reminder that communities weren't supposed to wait for miracles. They were supposed to be miracles. But trouble was waiting. On the 11th night, heavy clouds gathered again. The wind howled. And before anyone could react, rain collapsed from the sky like a burst dam. People ran to their homes except Nafula and Acheng, who stood at the riverbank, watching weeks of work tremble under the force of nature. Log by log, rope by rope, the river bullied the half-finished structure. When a cloud crack echoed, Nafula's knees weakened. "It's going to break," she whispered. Acheng stared at the water, her wrinkles deepening. "It hasn't broken yet," she said. But by sunrise, half the bridge was gone, and so was Nafula's hope. Nafula stayed locked in her room all morning. She didn't cry. She simply stared at the ceiling, wondering why she had believed she could change anything. A knock came at the door. "Nafula," it was her mother. "You're needed." "I'm done," Nafula muttered. "Let someone else try." Her mother didn't speak. Instead, she opened the door wide. Outside stood the entire village. Children, elders, mothers, farmers, even people from neighboring villages who had heard about the girl trying to fight a river. Mr. Koech stepped forward. "The bridge fell last night," he said, "but we didn't." Then Acheng spoke, leaning heavily on her walking stick. "Little one, you lit the fire. Don't walk away before it burns bright." And slowly, like dawn creeping over mountains, the spark returned to Nafula's eyes. The second attempt wasn't about speed. It was about strength. They redesigned the bridge, making it higher and thicker. They used heavier logs, buried deeper anchor stones, and twisted ropes tighter. People worked from sunrise to sunset, laughing, arguing, sharing food, telling stories. Something magical was happening. Strangers were turning into teammates. Neighbors were becoming friends. And Nafula, quiet and uncertain, was becoming a leader. A perfect, complete bridge. 3 days later, the final piece was ready. Nafula stood at one end of the bridge, her hands shaking. Across the river, Lem hopped excitedly. "Cross it," he shouted. "No," Nafula said, "we will cross it, all of us." And so they did, one by one, holding their breath, then letting out cheers when they reached the other side. Some cried, some laughed, some just stared at what they had built, unable to believe it. Nafula crossed last. She walked slowly, touching the ropes and logs, feeling the strength of not just wood, but unity. When she reached the center, she stopped, and the entire river seemed to pause with her. For the first time, she wasn't afraid of it. She respected it, and she had beaten it. It wasn't long before the story traveled first through nearby villages, then towns, then social media. After a traveler recorded a short video, people were amazed. A village had built its own bridge without waiting for help. A reporter came, then an engineer visited, impressed. A small NGO offered to reinforce the structure with modern materials for free, and they asked who had started the project. The entire village pointed to Nafula. She blushed so hard she wanted the earth to swallow her. Months passed. The bridge held. Children crossed safely to school. Women reached the clinic. Farmers reached the market even during rainy seasons. Nafula received a scholarship to study civil engineering, something she had once believed was impossible. Acheng, now older and slower, watched her pack for college one morning. "Remember," she said softly, "bridges are not just things we build with our hands. They are things we build between people. Nafula hugged her. I won't forget. Years later, Nafula returned to Kiborom, not as a girl, but as an engineer. She stood at the same riverbank watching the new reinforced bridge, strong, beautiful and permanent. But beside it, she saw something even more powerful. The old community-built bridge, preserved like a monument. She touched its own ropes, smiled and whispered. This was where everything began. And for the first time in a long time, the river looked calm, almost proud. When the community came together, they achieved what no single person could. Age does not limit leadership, passion and determination do. It teaches self-resilience and initiative. Nafula wanted to help children cross the river. In the end, her work opened doors for her own education and success. Acheng's lesson shows that relationships, trust and unity are just as important as physical structures.